Hey everybody, Zach Woods here. Welcome back to the next episode of Uprooted. I turned on the oven way too early and I'm also wearing a lot of waffle texture. We're gonna make some beautiful roasted Romanesco with a roasted beet puree. It's gonna have a little bit of garlic, a little bit of oregano. There might be a bay leaf involved. So come along with us and let's go for a ride on this cooking journey. First things first, I'm gonna get my beets started. One of the themes for today is farm to table, fresh delivery. I have been involved, my wife and I have been involved with an organization called Locally Grown Tennessee for about 2 years. And in preparation for this episode, we were like, what should I make? What should I make? I literally sent the idea over to Nigel and I said, what do you think about this? It looks beautiful. The next Saturday, which was 4 days ago, I got a note, or I got a box delivered to my door, which we had to take out of the shot, unfortunately, that had every single ingredient that I need for this recipe inside of the box. And I just thought that was such a beautiful kind of connecting point on the concept of Uprooted. Kind of what we're doing here is looking to eat locally wherever possible, and obviously sort of build and feed off of the community that grows our food and ultimately connects the food. So big shout out to Mark Casara from Locally Grown Tennessee, and also for Mr. Devlin, who owns Delvin Farms, where all of this produce that you see today is working out. Taking these beets, you can roast them in the skin for about 30 minutes. I'm gonna pop them in a 425 oven, which again, was way too damn hot. All right, you guys know the drill. Hey Siri, set a 30-minute timer. Good deal. And in the meantime, I'm going to prepare this beautiful Romanesco. First things first, I'm going to pull off just a little bit of the base. And I'm gonna really try hard to keep that big base stem intact, and you'll see why I wanna keep that base stem intact here in a moment. You guys know I love my waste bowl. Compost, if you don't already, it's important. You also just make less trash when you compost. So we've got our Romanesco here. I'm gonna clean it up just a little bit more. Just hacking off those little bits and bobs. Okay, as I'm getting this prepped, I'm gonna kind of angle it. I'm looking to make maybe 2 really nice thick steaks out of the Romanesco. You can do this with any broccoli or cauliflower. So this dish is pretty versatile. Wow, look at that beauty, right? So this guy's still probably, we can do it with, and then we're gonna really be delicate because I got 1 Romanesco, okay? So be gentle with the 1 veggie that you got, okay? Wow, beauty. And that, my friends, is what we're looking for. Simple, gorgeous. I did read off camera that there's a fractal somewhere in here, so anyone that knows about those can feel free to hop into the comments. I'm gonna do my very best, and I might botch it live, to salvage this little section. Wow, okay, cool. So I did get another steak out of that side, so we have 2. And then I'm gonna take this guy, I'm gonna do 1 more chop down. Let's see. I think I got 3 there, which is excellent. So we're of course gonna put the pretty one in the pan because that's what cooking shows are all about. But I'm also gonna be roasting these up, and we'll have them beautifully plated once our roasted beet puree is all toasted up in a little while. Also, because we're never one to waste, I had again, in the farm box delivered by Locally Grown Tennessee, I had some beautiful broccoli and cauliflower florets that Mark brought over. So I'm gonna have 2 pans going, one that's gonna be making these beautiful kind of Romanesco steaks, and the other one that's just gonna be sauteed cauliflower of various variety and various color. So I'm gonna chop those down here in a moment, but first I'm gonna get my olive oil heating up in the pan and start to pre-season that. So hop on over with me and we'll get our pan going. Now for this dish, we are gonna add a pretty good bit of olive oil to the pan. Key reason for that is, one, because it lets us hold the Grazia bottle in our hands longer, and yes, we're still looking for a sponsorship. And 2, it allows us to more easily baste with our spoon the top of the Romanesco steak. So we're not being wasteful here. We're also not trying to show off that we got a whole lot of olive oil. We're doing this for a purpose. We're gonna not deep fry the Romanesco, but we are gonna get this to you know, where the thing is slightly submerged, at least on the bottom half. We'll let the olive oil start to warm up. I'll be mindful of that. We'll also be adding some beautiful herbs into the olive oil to help bring out some of the aromatic flavor and texture, bring this to a crisp and put it on top of our goodies. In the meantime, I am going to stack my little Romanesco babes, bring this over, and I'm gonna get to chopping some of our cauliflower. All right, welcome back. Olive oil is warmed up. We're gonna take our Romanesco and cauliflower florets over. We're gonna spice our olive oil, bit of a pro tip, and then we're gonna get to searing some Romanesco steaks. So come on with me. All right, so our olive oil, nice and toasty. Keep in mind that olive oil is a pretty low smoke point oil, which means you don't want to overheat the olive oil whenever you start. I'm just putting a little bit of black peppercorn in here, and I'm also going to add 2 beautiful bay leaves that were sourced from none other than our very own Nigel Callisto's bay leaf tree, which he has at his house. This is going to add just a beautiful perfume to the Romanesco steaks. So you can even see, look at this beautiful, beautiful bubbling. You can see that it's already extracting some of the oils. That lets me know that our temperature is right. We're going to grab our super fancy kitchen implement, and first things first, we're going to lay our Romanesco down and let the sizzle do its thing. And now, my friends, the magic is patience. I'm gonna grab a spoon, and this spoon will allow me to start with a little bit of the basting process. So we're just taking some of this beautifully perfumed oil. We're popping it right on the top. Yeah, put a peppercorn on something. Why the heck not? I want to avoid that gets hidden in my Romanesco and someone takes a bite of a peppercorn. I guess that's the only reason. Why not? Okay. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I think we give this another minute. My spidey senses aren't tingling yet that this is ready. Also, again, similar to a beef dish or a steak or a chicken dish, you'll start to smell it. I want to encourage home chefs, you don't have to have a degree from Le Cordon Bleu to use your senses while you're cooking. Cooking is a lot of times about feeling, it's about smelling, it's about seeing, it's not just about tasting. So we're kind of looking to smell that nothing's burning, of course, but we're looking to smell that maybe Romanesco's cooking. Okay, cool. Then that might mean it's time for the flip. Now, I'm gonna take a quick sneak peek to see where we're at on the crisp level. We're not there yet, folks. We're not there. That's why we take the sneak peek. We don't want to be flipping this over 10 times. Again, the Romanesco steak is nicely thickly cut, but we have to remember, if we want this to come out plated professionally and beautifully, we don't want to be flipping this over and over again, because we're more likely to trim off our beautiful florets that we have preserved here. So, so we'll give this maybe 2 more minutes, and then we'll go for the flip. All right, folks, we have given this another couple of minutes. I'd say all in, we're 6 minutes in here, and we are gonna do the all important peak test one more time. We're gonna see where we're at. Oh, and we are in delicious town. Again, we're being very delicate with the Romanesco, not to pop off the florets. This backside is gonna take maybe 2 minutes. We've done 70% of our cooking by doing the first side. We're going to give it maybe 2 minutes on the underside. We still want this to have body. We still want it to have texture, remembering that it's going to be served atop that beautifully blitzed roasted beet puree. So texture we're going to get from the crispy of obviously it being semi-fried, but we're also wanting to keep some of the texture of the vegetable and its freshness as well intact. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm gonna bring back my basting technique. Baste some stuff, y'all. Put some baste in your face. Cooking meat, cooking veggies, use butter, use tallow, use olive oil. Just put a little bit of hot spiced oil on top of whatever the heck it is you're cooking, and it's bound to make it better. Beautiful, beautiful. I think, let's do one little peek. Let's see where we're at on the underside. Not quite there, but it is turning. We're gonna give that 73 more seconds on the dot, and then we're ready to take it out. I'm gonna get a plate so that we can let that rest while we're waiting. And we will then pop our beets out of the oven, and we'll get to blitzing. I think it's beautiful. Now, bear in mind, number one, you're cooking at home, okay? Number two, we are really not, we don't want to overcook this, so we're gonna bring this over. We're just gonna sit this on our plate. We're gonna let that rest for maybe 2 minutes so it's not too hot. We're whipping up our puree here in a second, and then we're gonna be ready for some delicious root farm to table magic. Okay, we are just getting our last of florets. And folks, please never, ever, 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 ever get rid of olive oil that has done a job. This is going to bring our beet puree to the perfect mouthfeel, the perfect texture. So we'll keep this on the oven, and right now we're gonna go check our beets, make sure that they are fork tender. All right, we did kick the oven up to 450 because it was going too slow. We're gonna bring this out just a hair. Look at that. What we're gonna do, take our fork, and that is really nice, excellent. Okay, we're gonna take these over to the sink. We're gonna pop off the peel, and then we'll get to blitzing. All right, folks, when you're doing home cooking, ingenuity is of the essence. I have had to figure out a way on a timeline. You got dinner guests coming over. You chose to put the beets in the oven. They got really hot. I am figuring out an ingenious, I think, way to get the skin off of these bad boys without burning my hand or ruining every kitchen towel that I own. So I've already processed 7 of the 8 of these. I'm working on my last one. I'm just holding it in the tongs. I'm rotating it around, and I'm getting all the skin off. Viewer Choice Award or Note to Home Chef. This is much easier with the large ones than it is with the small ones, but we are there. We have all of our beets prepped and ready. I'm gonna pop that guy actually in the sink. And then we are on to making our puree. So we're gonna get our blender ready. We pop this top off. First things first, we're popping in our peeled beets for the puree. We also have a few little accoutrements that are gonna go in this. One thing I'm gonna add is I'm gonna put just a few sun-dried tomatoes. This is gonna add depth of flavor. A little bit of the olive oil that the sun-dried tomatoes came in. Excellent. This is both ingenuity and because I am addicted to Toom from Costco, very large tubs of it at extremely reasonable prices. Toom is a Middle Eastern garlic and oil puree or paste. I was gonna roast garlic with olive oil along with the beets, but I forgot the garlic, as did a chef that's also gonna be doing some shoots today. So we're putting a little bit of Toom in there. Let's go a little more. I like garlic. The last little element from the seasoning tray that I'm gonna pop in, I'm gonna put just a touch of Dijon mustard. This is that Grey Poupon, probably 3/4 of a tablespoon, half a tablespoon, something along those range. For texture, for creaminess, I'm gonna add about 3 tablespoons of hummus, also from the Grazia family. And then I'm gonna use the olive oil. Again, I cautioned you not to throw this away. I'm gonna use some of the olive oil from our beautiful Romanesco saute to add flavor to this. And I'm trying to be careful not to spill the bay leaves, but I am gonna put just a couple of the toasted sun-dried tomatoes in there as well. All right, so I think we're pretty darn close. We're gonna pop over to the blender and see what this bad boy can do. So join me there. All right, folks, blender at the ready. We got our beets, we got our Toom, we have some of the other yumminess. We're gonna start it on low. And we're gonna add olive oil. Little bit of shake up, little bit of shake up, little bit of shake up. Okay, we have a beautiful beet puree. I mean, hey, you know what I'm saying? That looks absolutely marvelous. We'll grab a serving spoon and we're gonna do our little plate up. We're putting a few dollops of our beet puree on both of our serving trays. We'll go one more dollop right at the top just so it frames out our Christmas tree. And then here, I'm gonna kind of go with a little bit more of a creative display. Okay, beet puree off to the side. We got to get our beautiful serving tongs. We're grabbing our Romanesco. We just rest that into the puree. We're going to take our beautiful, we made a super simple little vinaigrette. There's a little bit of cilantro in here, some balsamic vinegar. Plate that right over the top. Romanesco 1 done. And then we will delicately rest in color coordination our other pieces. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Get them all on there. Make them look like family. And then a nice beautiful purple piece to go right at the cap. And again, we go down with our beautiful little topping sauce or vinaigrette. And our last touch, because as you may have seen, we used almost none of this during the production of this meal. We do just a small Salt Bay on top. Okay, and here we have a beautiful Romanesco steak with roasted beet puree and roasted cauliflower with roasted beet puree. Again, from the farms of Tennessee, straight to your table. Hope you enjoy, really have enjoyed having you on the episode of Uprooted, and support your local farmers. It's really important. Also cook something at home. Catch you next time.